All right. Thank you so much. All my beautiful performers in the studio, Kofia Samoa and Arnold Mason Levanyo. I don't know if Shatawale has paid you for this performance, though. It is a good feeling here on Showbiz Agenda, Zylofon FM 102.1. Maybe from tomorrow we will have a proper discussion on the 3 music awards as they are about to announce their nominations on Thursday. We might have to do a proper discussion on that, especially with what we just studied on the breakthrough artist and the next rated. The understanding should be better to us, so we can go ahead to all be part of the discussion. Thank you so much, Obed Buafo, Communications Director, for talking to us. And tomorrow we might get him in the studio, all things being equal, to have a proper discussion. Now we're going straight to Cameroon, where we have one international artist to have a chat with. He's here to bless us with his presence. He's here to bless us with his music, and of course, maybe bless us with a performance as well. And we will also bless him with money and women. Big man, welcome to Ghana. Welcome to Ghana.
Thank you for having me.
I know. How long have you been in town?
A couple of days. It's a good feeling.
I know. Ghana. Everyone who comes to Ghana says it is a good feeling.
Yeah. I mean, positive.
I really don't know what adds up to that good feeling.
Positive vibration. Connect to people easily. I mean, you just talk to people and you discover Africa is one big country.
I see. So the food, the environment, the peaceful
man.
nature.
I had some jollof and I had some fried yams and fried fish yesterday, which is very nice. I mean, I really, really, really love the yam, and the Ghana jollof is legendary.
The Ghana jollof is legendary.
Oh yeah.
I know. I know what it means.
Yeah, man.
If you equate the jollof to the women, which one is more legendary?
Still to taste the women.
Salatiel. Now, Salatiel, now you can't start telling lies. It's too early to start telling lies.
Yeah, I mean, there's time for everything.
No. I know the man you are working with is a bad man. Unless you don't know. Chief Abiola. Bad man. Chief Abiola cannot keep you in Ghana for 3 days without giving you jollof and the other one.
No, don't worry. We're going to taste all the jollofs,
Wow. Fine morning here. Salatiel, welcome
Thank you.
once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Showbiz Agenda, Zylofon FM, one of the biggest platforms you can ever be, and we are welcoming you. So feel at home and let's have a vibe.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
I'm honored, man.
I know. Now, let's get to know the type of music you do. I know in Cameroon you don't need any introduction in Cameroon, but of course in Ghana we are yet to know you more.
Yeah. Well, I'm a producer and a singer, and I'm a CEO of one of the biggest independent record labels in Cameroon, Alphabeta Records. Musically, it's a really wide range. It ranges from Afrobeats to reggae to dancehall to soul music. It's a really wide range. When you're a producer, you get to touch almost everything, and I'm here to present music, to the rest of Africa.
I see. Yeah. Now, in your background tells us you've gone through some music reality shows before you rose to the top. So tell us the experience.
Well, it was a good experience. Music reality shows sometimes is important to increase competitiveness in every artist. And I did a couple of them. 2009, I did my first competition with one of the biggest brewery company. Right now, I'm actually the coach and jury for that same competition just about 10 years after.
So now you're a judge for the competition.
Coach.
Did you win? Were you the top most?
I didn't win the first competition. I did a second one and won and represented Cameroon in the Pan-African finals. That was 2010. But I started my solo career after winning the third, after going for my third competition and emerging winner nationally. And that was in 2014, and had my first single as a solo artist myself. myself in 2015, which was a big hit over in Cameroon and in the whole of French Africa. And since then, I've been riding solo, and yeah, it's a good feeling. Yeah.
And again, I hear you have also established some music bands before.
Yeah.
How are they doing? Or now you are a solo artist, you're doing your independent thing?
Yeah, I started with a music band. Unfortunately, I had to move out of town where the band was located. The rest of the band is doing well. One of my friends is handling a jazz band in Morocco. The other people, like, they're still musicians and doing well. The most of the instrumentalists, I was playing the drums and singing, and sometimes hopping between the drums, the keyboard, or the guitar. It depends. I mean, anyhow it comes. And yeah, everybody in that band is doing fine, and I'm happy that we had to start together. I also was part of a group which we won the 2010 awards. I was just talking about, and I actually signed 2 of the artists in my group. We're 4 of us. I signed 2 of these artists in my record label, and they have been doing well. We're growing the careers and seeing how to make it bigger.
I see. I want to know, when it comes to African music,
Yeah.
if we are to do maybe listings or ratings, where will Cameroon be placed?
I think Cameroon, with the culture, the history of Cameroon. Cameroon is that country. I've been to lots of places, and Cameroon so far to me is the most diverse a musical landscape you're going to find. In Cameroon, you're going to listen to Afrobeats, real Afrobeats. You're going to have high life. Cameroon is like Africa in miniature. You imagine a country of like 27 million people, but with 250 languages and 250 tribes, which means different kinds of music, different culture. And
how many tribes?
250.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's like you drive for 20 minutes and you're in a complete different land, different language, different culture, different.
You don't mean it.
Yeah, that's Cameroon, and I think Cameroon is a very important. It's a very important country in Africa, because it's called Africa in miniature. You're going to find every kind of you listen to Senegalese music. You're going to find Senegalese music, traditional music in some part of Cameroon. Cameroon has high life that sounds like Ghanaian. Sometimes I listen to Ghanaian music, to Ghanaian high life artists, and I'm like, wow, but this is like from one village in Cameroon. The same with Nigerian music. You have what Congolese do, like Ndombolo. You have Makossa in Cameroon, which is the same like the Ndombolo. I mean, you have almost every kind of music which you have around Africa in one country. And so if I would put Cameroon, I would say diversity. And to me, it's that one country that's going to be there whenever Africa needs a new sound to explore, because there's too much. It feels like even there's too much even right now in Cameroon.
In fact, we're going to introduce some of your songs to our listeners. Some of them will be hearing it for the first time.
Yes.
And maybe others too, they have heard it before.
Yeah.
Has it been easy selling songs from Cameroon to other countries?
Well, French Africa is in line with everything we're doing. Last year, 2019, I just won the award for the best male artist from Afrima Awards, best male artist in Central Africa.
Wow.
And so selling Cameroon music, Cameroon is 80% French speaking and 20% English speaking. It's a bilingual country. So it's an advantage. The diversity is an advantage, but at the same time also a challenge, because you're in 20% English speaking, you have to satisfy the 80% of your primary fan base, which is the country, and also the rest of French Africa, because I mean, you have a big song in Cameroon, then you're sure your song is big in Gabon, in Abidjan, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Togo, and all the French countries in Africa. That's it. Like I had a huge single, Anita, last year, which was big in all these places. But then you need to find a balance if you need to communicate with the rest of Africa and have them connect to music. But I'm one of those people that believes music is a language in its own, and we listen to Ghanaian artists sing in the languages, and we don't understand what they're saying, but we vibe to the music. So music is a universal language on its own. It's a language on its own, and that's why I'm here. I'm like to show Africa. Africa is Africa. You can't fake that. You can't change that, and we are one.
I see. So predominantly, Salatiel, which kind of language do you write your songs in?
English and French,
You do-
English and French or Pidgin. It comes anyhow. When you're in a country where you can switch from English to French without any problem, then you could go through your music in English, in French. So anyhow the song comes, it doesn't matter whether it's English or French or a local dialect. We put it down. We believe music is a language in its own. Yeah.
I hear in other countries, hardly do they permit the influx of other songs from different countries.
Yeah.
In Cameroon, how is your market? Is your market very closed, or
I
is it an
think
open one?
Cameroon is a very open market. Cameroon celebrates a lot of artists from the rest of Africa. Sakode is a big deal in Cameroon. It's very
Wow.
very much known and
Rapping in tree,
celebrated.
and he's still a big deal.
Still a big deal, and you see people they're biting their tongues out to
Pronounce some of
to
the words.
pronounce a Sakode verse. And Stone Boy, it's a big deal. Reggae dance hall is not very much unappreciated. It's not the main genre in Cameroon, but strangely enough, I mean, you're going to find songs like songs of Stone Boy. We're vibing to People Day, vibing to Shatta Wale songs. You have them on radio like Something Must Kill a Man, something must kill a man. And I think Cameroon is a very very receptive market. And I mean, it's Africa. It's part of Africa. It's like a roundabout for Africa, where it's a melting pot where everything meets. And we appreciate everything that comes from everywhere, especially when it's African. And we would like to have more. That's why I'm here, to connect with the rest of Africa and bring these people close. Why not have a bigger Stone Boy show in Cameroon, or a bigger Sakode show, or a big? I mean, we know these artists, and
Wow.
we play their music, we enjoy their music. So yeah, of course Cameroon is receptive.
Okay, I'm sure on this note, Ghana will also welcome you warmly,
thank
so
you.
that you can feel at home to do your thing.
I already feel at home.
In Ghana, talk to about 3 artists, and they will tell you we have weak structures. They will tell you our royalty system is not good, our distribution system is not good. Is it different from Cameroon, or you guys are facing same?
Yeah, I think that's a general African problem. I've been elsewhere in Africa, and it feels like the narrative is the same. I think African music is coming into the spotlight now worldwide, and we need governments that are going to be able to set up these systems and come out with policies that are going to favor African music more and more, and so we can get all the royalties going on for us and all that. Africa needs that. It's not just a Ghanaian problem. It's an African problem. And
But I thought I heard something like the Francophone countries, they have a different story. They have a better royalty system they are collecting.
No, I'm sorry. Francophone countries mostly, for till now, most Francophone artists are registered under SACEM. Till now, SACEM, which is the French copyright. Most Francophone artists are registered under SACEM, and being in French Africa, it's like a one-way street. I'll be leaving on the 6th of February for a tour in Europe, mostly Belgium, France, and Swiss, all these French-speaking countries. So it's like a one-way street. You have a hit song in French Africa, then you stand this chance of having of being known, in France and all the other French-speaking countries. But the royalty system in the countries themselves still have a long way to go to give artists what they really deserve.
I see. So what is the mode of survival for artists in Cameroon? Because over here in Ghana, your best is to get a hit song, get every event promoter calling you to perform. If you're able to get that, then it means you are sorted for the year. In Cameroon, can an artist also rely on sales of songs, whether digitally or hard copies, to survive?
Yeah, right now there is a new system of survival for artists. it has been almost the same narrative for us, you know,
I see.
shows and hoping on a brand ambassadorship. This year I'm a brand ambassador for Guinness, doing a few months of work with Diageo on the Guinness Football Night. So but right now artists are beginning to sell their music despite the piracy and the difficulty with piracy and the royalty system. We're trying to sell music using our local money transfer systems like the mobile money systems and
okay.
so that is coming up pretty well. You know, we sold a couple of albums, and I mean, if you're selling an album at 1,000 and you succeed to sell 20,000 albums, you know, it's beginning to, people are beginning to buy albums from local systems, and we are working really hard. Being a record label myself, we're working on platforms to sell our music locally. It's not easy, but we're getting there.
I see. He is my special guest from Cameroon. His name is Salatiel, record producer and, of course, executive boss as well as a musician. Now, let's move on. Let's talk about African collaborations.
Yeah.
Are we getting there? Are we trying to do features that will sell us to the West?
Yeah, I think it's coming. You know, we have seen the last years. We had a lot of Nigerian artists already shining the light. You know, we saw Snoop Dogg on some songs. We saw Akon and other people on some stuff. Last year marked a lot for African music. It started with Wizkid doing a song with Drake. You know, Rick Ross doing a song with Yemi Alade, and we also had the Lion King album of Beyonce that featured a lot of African artists. I was honored to be part of that list, doing a song with Beyonce and Pharrell Williams on that album Water. So I think African music is getting the attention that it needs. We need more and more collaborations with the West, just like we saw London collaborating with the US more and more. And besides that, we even need more and more African collaborations. You know, it's a movement. It doesn't have to be a Ghanaian movement or a Nigerian movement or Cameroonian movement or South African movement. I think we have to move together as one Africa. That's how we get stronger. That's why the United States are because it's a whole continent working together to promote their culture, and I think Africa needs that. We need to break down the barriers and break down the boundaries. And I mean, Stoneboy should be having concerts in Cameroon, having concerts in Abidjan, and vice versa. You know, we just have to create a movement and move around. That's how we take the world.
See, we know the story of how Shatta Wale was called for his involvement on the Lion King album, and you are just telling us that you were also on it as well. How did your invitation come? How were you called?
Well, we just received the call. It was a very close call, a very short call. At the moment of the call, I was on tour in Cameroon, so it was difficult to make up a program to go to Los Angeles. So we got we did a call. I was just jumping from a show. I remember I was just coming from stage, and I jumped into the studio. And the best way we could do it was to have a video recording session. Pharrell was recording in the studio because as short as the call was, we had to do like a video. Pharrell was recording in the studio, Beyonce in her own studio, and we were on a call recording and exchanging ideas and developing the song. And it was a good, I mean, there's more to come about this project. We're developing, we're moving with this project. We're working with the management team from Beyonce to see maybe a visual of the project and all of that. So yeah, that is coming, and we believe the collaboration is going to get deeper. We hope that it gets deeper, so as to get that full exchange between Africa and the West.
I see. I think you met the Ghanaian press last Sunday.
Yep.
And after that, I got some feelings that you told someone secretly that you made about $1 million from the Beyonce deal. Is that confirmed?
I didn't call a figure. I don't remember calling a figure. But
I'm saying this one was told someone behind the scenes.
Okay. Well, that it's not that, you know. I'm not the kind of artist that forms like not inflate numbers to impress, you know.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but it was a good collaboration for us. It's a win-win situation.
No,
And,
I mean reality on how much you made on the contribution to the album.
we can't really calculate how much it's going to be made. It's royalties, and it comes with streaming, it comes with plays.
You were not giving any goodwill money or what we call the advanced
no
money?
no there was, you know, like the studio fees was all settled and all of that was all settled, you know.
Put together around how much dollars?
I can't say that here, you know. We have non-disclosure contracts. It entails a lot, but we are satisfied and they are satisfied, and that's what's most important for us. Yeah.
So has the royalty started coming?
No, we are not there yet. We did, like I said, the project, we're still developing the project. There's more to come about that project. I don't think that was the end of the project. There's more to come about that project, and we're developing on it, and maybe in a couple of months the royalties and the rest of that is going to, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Now I hear you are also about to embark on a tour.
Yeah.
Now these tours you're going to, are they Salatiel concerts, or you also going to support some bigger artists?
No, for the European tour I'm doing it Salatiel concerts. So a couple of festivals that but having my own dates on these festivals, and it's mostly for this year. It's going to be mostly meeting the African diaspora in Europe, because after that I'm passing to the next stage, you know, going to other scenes like I did before back in the days, doing Reggae Sunsplash Festival 2015 and all of that. So I decided charity begins at home. So you come, you make it big where you are, and your people lift you up, and then you can take it to the next level.
I see. Now the West is talking Afrobeats everywhere you go to. Everywhere you go to, it is Afrobeats. Is it our time to take over world music?
Yeah, I would say Afrobeat is just one style of African music, you know. It's spearheading now, but Afrobeat, people think African music is just about Afrobeat, you know, but Afrobeat is just one part, it's just one style of African music. We have much more music to offer, but it's a good start for Africa to go mainstream with the Afrobeat movement that is happening all around the world. We saw Grammy nominations for Africa this year, and yeah, it's a good thing. I think we have what it takes, you know. We are Africans, and we need to be proud of what we have to offer to the world. That's the most important thing now, and we're beginning to be proud, and we're beginning to sell our music at the highest stage. I think it's a great time to be alive, you know, to see African music, especially from young Africans, not just African music from the older generation. You know, we've enjoyed the Manu Dibango, Fela Kuti. Now it's a new whole story, you know. I think we are going to have in a few years a generation of Felas, and like we had back in the days, we are emerging with that, and African music is the future of the world's music.
Did you expect Burna Boy to be beaten in the world album category in the Grammys?
I didn't, you know. I didn't. I think it ended well, especially Angelique Kidjo dedicating her award to Burna Boy. I was saying the whole evening of that Grammy Awards, we need this award. It's not an award for Burna, it's not an award for Nigeria, it's an award for Africa, you know. It's an award to open doors for Africa, and I think the first step has been made. And besides the fact that Burna got a Grammy nomination, or the Beyonce album with all of us got nominated on the Grammys, I think we Africans even need to make our own awards as credible and as big as the Grammys, because sometimes you don't need other people to validate what you get. You have to valorize what you have in your hands and make it big, just like everybody else is doing. And we need our own African Grammys. We need, because I think we deserve as Africans all what is good, all what we see from other people. and but it's a good start. It's a good. I think we're in the right path, and every artist in Africa doing African music is just supposed to keep doing what they're doing and putting themselves out there. We saw a BET award for Sarkodie. You know, it's a big thing. We just have to keep moving.
All right, so his name is Salatiel, my special guest from Cameroon today on Showbiz Agenda. Let's give him a breather. Let's listen to one of his songs. And when we come back, I'm sure you'll ask some more questions. My panel members are also listening attentively. I know they have one or two to ask. When we also come back, he will tell us about this song. I'm struggling to cut the song. Wow. Salatiel, that is a great song there.
Thanks, man.
Produced by yourself?
Yes, of course.
And the vocals by yourself?
Yes.
Written by Salatiel?
Yes.
You are dope, man. Thanks, so, Ayagayo, good feeling. Tell us about the song, the content. What does it say?
I mean, you know, it's not a song you talk about much. You know, the song says everything for itself. It's that good vibe song, you know, that you use to turn up your feelings, you know, when you're down, or that you use to celebrate when you have something to celebrate about. It's a cut across song, you know. You could listen with your babies, and you could listen with the oldest people, you know. Turn it up in the club, turn it up, you know. It's just a happy song.
Yeah. I'm just imagining a big stage, maybe a festival where Salatiel is performing for the white people, and it gets to the Ayagayo. Now, before we listen to your song, you talked about it is time for us to build our own Grammys in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Does it mean you have doubts for our award schemes in Africa?
No, I don't have doubts. I just said we need to grow them, you know. Awards is it's how big, how credible, you know. We Africans have to support our own things and make our own things grow and make our own things references, you know, for the rest of the world. We already have really, really good awards going on. I think we just have to focus on them also and grow them, and the rest of the world is just going to follow us, you know.
I see. I thought you doubted them.
No. I'm not in the place of doubt. I'm just mean it. Like we make them grow and put them at the levels of what we see the rest of the world. We have really great awards. I mean, we hear about the VGMA award in Ghana. You know, we have the MTV Base Awards. We have the Afrima Awards. We have a lot of big awards that are big and credible. We have Sound City Award in Nigeria. So we have a lot of these platforms, and we just have we
also
Africans
have 3 music awards.
3 music awards. I was just hearing about that on the radio right now. I think we have a lot of these awards which we make them credible. We talk about them, we celebrate them, we grow them, and the rest of the world follows, you know.
I know. 3 music awards, man. Everybody saying Ayagayo. Why people envious of 3 music awards?
Oh, chairman. Sir, at the end, yen shasi. So say china. Intro na here ni dey say and shada nya.
Okay. Don't speak to you because of Salatiel.
Okay. More fine.
I want him to understand you, bro. Okay, so we've listened to his song, his story. What can we tell him? If you have any question for him as well, he's ready to answer.
Before I go to the song, first of all, let me say congratulations to him.
Thank you very much.
I mean, having listened to your conversation, I think, you're on point. You're a straightforward person and I like people like that. But I want to find out, if you are to get the opportunity to be in leadership, let's say the whole of Africa, you know, you get the opportunity to lead most of the African music groups, what would you do, or what can you do, or what would you put in place to make sure that our system, like you made in your statement, that, you know, most of the countries you've been
this is
to,
like a vetting committee question.
More fire. So most of the countries you visited, it's almost the same. The statement goes the same. You know, the payment, the how do you call it, the royalties. What would you do? What do you think should be done?
I think the first thing is we need to check do a corruption check. You know, that's the biggest thing that is killing our
Corruption check.
Yeah, we need to do it because
Will someone pass in Africa?
that's a serious question. I wouldn't stand here and pretend that we are all fine when it comes to this. You know, some places are worse than others. You know, my country is terrible when it comes to corruption, and the story is everywhere. But if we try to kill corruption and give power to the bodies that are supposed to take care of royalties, and I think African artists are going to live a better life and have the financial power to do things around the world. So that's the first thing I will do: organize royalties committee, because sometimes we are unable to have. I was talking with the director of Apple Music in South Africa, Andiza, and I was asking them, why don't you have offices in African countries like elsewhere? Why is African music very little playlisted? And the biggest problem is, who do they pay royalties to? And if they are paying royalties, are these royalties going to the artist? And it's not just about paying royalties, it's how do you count the royalties? How do you check to make sure every artist gets what they deserve? Not that an artist is having a #1 single in the country, and then you take an artist who had his last single in 1980 and is receiving the biggest money just because he's a legend. You know, some of the things we.
In fact, your story is really like our story. with just this explanation.
Yeah, so that's those are some of the things. We don't have any counting system, any system that is counting. Where I mean, also where you have other copyright companies where you just hit your numbers and you can see everything. It's counted. The machines, their softwares, their applications that are counting, that are doing that counting for us. I think if we solve that alone is going to do a lot for African music and African countries. And the next thing I'm going to do is, I mean, per region, per artist, you know, every artist has his primary fan base. Before exploding in other countries, you have a primary fan base. And one of the problems which we're facing, for example, in Cameroon, is having companies doing like publicity, you know, brand ambassadorships and stuff with they are supposed to work with but celebrities of every country to sell whether the products, or it's like giving back to the community. That is, yeah. And if we change just the royalty system, it's going to adjust a lot of things. That's like the head of the ship, you know. If you touch that and you fix that, African music, African culture is going to really explode.
Wow. Thank you so much, Salatiel.
Yes. Chairman, with your permission, I'll hit on the song briefly. But it seems like all you're saying, everything is centered on the corruption bit of what is happening. Everything is centered on the corruption.
Yeah.
What can you do? What do you think should be done to, I mean, eradicate corruption completely?
We would arrest all the corporates.
Transparency, you know, it's like I was saying. I already answered that question by saying we need transparent systems.
Okay.
That handle these things for us, you know. I have the impression sometimes Africans generally, we are afraid of transparency. It feels like we are afraid of transparency. That's a general problem, and where I come from, it's a serious problem. People are afraid of transparency. If you put a meter that is counting every franc that is supposed to, or every money that is supposed to enter, every dollar that is supposed to enter the account of everybody, that means you're not going to have lose money for people to feed on.
Chairman, I'll end here. I think he's got a good song. Most of the danceable tunes, the lyrics most of the time doesn't make sense. You know, it's all about boom, 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 boom. You know, and then but I think having listened to the song, I mean, there was a line that says that whatever you're doing, something, right?
Yeah.
And I think that alone,
smiling.
Gayo, more fire. You know, so it's a good song. Big ups.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ben K Music. And that I have already there, Yankwe, superstar. And I'm sure that I have should work out some production arrangement with Salatiel before he leaves to Cameroon and to his Europe tour.
Yes, I mean, I think that Benke asked some question about how is he going to get rid of corruption. I think that question is too governmental.
That's what I asked. That is he on a vetting seat?
Yeah, it's like going to Europe and somebody asking you how is Africa. Yeah. Bro, you have to ask the BBC. You live in Ghana. Well, anyway,
it's a vetting question still.
Big up to Salatiel. I think that I was listening to your song, and at a point, I was like, I found myself singing along.
Oh yeah.
Because even though it's a moving song, it has a message. It has a message that good times don't come easy, but they come eventually. And that is very, very deep. I like the song, and big up yourself. I think that when it comes to some of the problems that you've shared with us in Cameroon, we also have similar problems here. That artists have #1 songs in the country, and you don't get nothing to show for it, because royalty monies will be given to some old school artists because they are legendaries, and people find it. People find it difficult giving them the pennies. But the royalty system, what it means is that it is the person whose song is popping on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fair, fairness.
Exactly. So I think that if we should come together as Africa artists, we'll be able to make a certain change.
Yeah,
it's going to be difficult.
Yeah,
because Africans, we tend to be selfish people. Whenever we need to come together, everybody sees themselves. We are too egoistic. So it becomes difficult. But I think we can also do it. Another thing that you touched that I think I've thought about it is for Africa to have our own Grammys. Why should we need validation from the West? Why don't we have our Grammys where they will also feel proud when they are nominated? Just like, you get what I mean? We have our Grammys. So, for example, if Ludacris gets nominated, he goes haywire. Shall I be nominated in Africa?
Africa has recognized me.
Exactly. Because, mind you, these artists, anytime they are coming to Africa, when they come to Africa and they see people singing their songs, they get shocked. They get shocked like, oh, wow, am I that big? Because they think that we are living very far away from them. So we need to sit down and properly strategize. And that is why I speak about the genres we have. We need to be championing our genre so much that they will tap into it. You understand? To popularize it to the world. So I think it was a very, very good point that you made. We need to actually find a strategy where we can, for example, we have an award scheme for African musicians, just like we used to have for the Mamas and the Kora and all of that, where an artist from the West will be nominated and the person will go crazy, and then the next movement will be that all they will do is to strive hard to get nomination in Africa. It put us on the map and puts us even. So for me, I think it was a very, very good point. So big up yourself. For Ghana, dear, when you come here, there's one thing. We value foreigners a lot.
Oh.
So I don't think you would have a problem in this country.
No, I didn't feel any problem. I did a video launch and I received a lot of bloggers and a lot of media people.
Be everywhere.
I feel at home.
Is it like that in Cameroon?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I said, I move quite a little.
Okay.
And I won't lie to you. Africa is I don't know how these people drew the lines to separate us, but you just see your brother, you see your cousin, you see the same kind of mindsets, it is always the same trends, but we're separated by some lines which we don't really know, and that's I mean yeah, you even hear the language, you hear the music, you see the tradition, you see somebody calling the same thing you're having just with a different name. And I think we are all brothers.
Sure.
I can guarantee you 80% of the problems you're going to pose about your community, we are going to say the same things. The trends are the same. From experience and from moving around, it's the same thing. Cameroon receives a lot of foreign music. Like I told you guys, if Sarkozy drops sets food in Cameroon now, he's already a big deal there.
Wow.
It's the same thing. It works. It's like if I go to Cote d'Ivoire, I cannot come out of the car because it's going to cause traffic.
Wow.
We are just brothers and cousins, and we're just separated by lines and foreign languages which are not ours.
Wow.
Why are you not taking advantage of the Sarkozy's presence in Cameroon for a gig, maybe for a promotion, because you are in town?
Yeah. It's not just Sarkozy, It's Sarkozy, it's many other artists. Yesterday I had a good studio time with Stoneboy, and Shatta Wale and I were on the same album, Beyonce album. My time is very short. I just came here to be like, okay, this is me. I need to see what's going on in Ghana. I need to make myself known in Ghana, and this is just the beginning of things. I'm going to be coming back often, and if possible, going back with even some other artists from here. So with content with other artists. So we could create a one-way street between French Africa and Ghana. Why not?
I see.
Sure, yeah. So for me, that's cool. I wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank you very much, and thank you for
Mr. Na, take over.
Yes, sir. Beautiful song. I just saw the video, and it reminded me of Lucky Dube's video. Do you feel irate? The happy feeling song. Yes, just like that.
Okay.
And it's beautiful. Listening to him, he comes across as a brilliant chap. Very bright and deep.
I agree.
I have only one question for you. What is his mantra in life?
Mantra in life.
Mantra, what's that, please?
What's your mindset? Your mindset to life.
To life. Well,
You people are asking hard questions too much. Why?
We are built for such. I believe the greatest heritage a man has is what he leaves, the impact he leaves on people. That's how I live my life. I started a career. I told you guys, I started a career as a musician professionally in 2007. And between 2007 and 2015, what I did mostly was working, producing, training. And if you check through my press book and my works, the biggest artist in French Africa today is Daphne. And I produced and wrote all the songs for her. That's what I've been doing over the years, and put these people first. Mr. Leo is also a big deal in French Africa, with many awards on his shoulder. And I started training in 2007, and I started his career. I created a label and was not an artist on the label, but started producing. So, and if you have 10 artists in Cameroon that are thriving, 5 of these artists I'm producing. I have a record label with artists, producing, writing hit songs, knowing these songs are hit, and calling other artists. And besides that, to me, life is about what you leave back, the impact which you leave on other people's life. That's how I live life.
Great response. Thank you, Mr. Na. Arnold, wrap up for me. Our time is running out.
Should I ask a question?
No, you can sing. You can sing for him.
We shatter right now. Like these guys were like shatter.
You can sing.
It's crazy. I think he's intelligently spoken and has outlined the African problem. It's not really peculiar to Ghana alone.
Charlie, and that makes it sad.
And that makes it sad because there's no one actually feeling where we can say that these guys are feeling, we are bleeding. So let's go and join them to feel. We're all bleeding. There's a joint.
But South Africa is not like that.
I will tell you, I was in South Africa a few months ago. They have this kind of issues too, And South Africa is a great country, but it's pretty sad, things are looking good, but if you want to check deep down, sometimes they're really upside down. It's not run by Africans. That's the truth.
You see, so
No, I get the politics.
yes.
I get the politics.
So
yeah.
there's a lot we have in common, and sadly, the things we have in common are the things that kill us. It's making it difficult for us to, expand. And where you talk about us having our own Grammy and us working together and moving together, I see a bit of a difficulty moving forward unless we decide to use a lot of our own produced stuff. For instance, if we can go global like the way we want it, we need to use a lot of our local instruments and actually produce them here. Because I see the West using music or anything that has to do with the movement as a loan condition if they see it as a force to reckon with moving forward. The very way when we start, moving towards a certain direction, they realize Africa is about to get liberated. They start using those things as loan conditions. Okay, so before we give you this amount, make sure you don't employ more than a certain number of doctors for these hospitals you're building. By so doing, making sure that we always remain below them. The very moment they realize this music we want to use now to capture the world, like Grammys. When we start preparing towards having African Grammys, you'll be surprised our leaders go for loans and they use our agenda for the Grammy as conditions, because our leaders are always going for loans. Our leaders are going for almost everything we're going to use to build these things, and they won't give you their money for you to use it to better your industry and be independent from them, because they always want you to be chained to what they do. So before we can succeed, I think we need to break away from the
Over-reliance.
the chain and over-reliance to with the Western world.
Yeah, I think
that's the only way we
think
can-
Africa is one of the richest continents we have. We don't need loans. We have resources. Each country is packed with resources, and I think we need to. It's a mental slavery we are living in. It's a mental slavery. It's not even real slavery. It's mental. We are programmed to think that. I mean, it starts from our curriculum. From the moment I learned how to read and write, the first topic in my history book was slavery in Africa. It's like programming a child to tell him, look, you're a slave. I think we need to change from the basics. I'm not a politician, I'm just a musician, I'm just a singer, but we all can work in our own little ways. Little ways. We have to be proud of who we are. We have to be proud of what we have to offer, and it all starts from there. If you're proud of what you are, then people are going to see what you really are and see you for what you really are. Our history has been taken away from us. Our legends are wiped away. Why don't we have the kingdoms of Africa? And to know that Africa, before colonization, before slavery, was a whole system. We had kings, we had kingdoms, we had successful kingdoms, and which means we had an administration which is African based. But I think we're building our administration on something which we don't know, which we don't master. It's not our culture, it's not our values, it's deeper than just what we see.
Okay.
It starts from the base. I mean, it starts from the base, from the child.
Yes, so I think you just summed up everything I wanted to say. Because definitely once we start making that move, they'll start finding ways of using that same move to clip us down. It's difficult because the softwares we'll be using, most of our music production softwares are coming from the West.
Yeah, but we have software developers in Africa.
So then we should start
Ayagayo,
looking
for
at-
example, I produced that song with real drums. Like I had my drummers come and play real drums on it, like all these percussions you hear, all these percussions. We have the potential to do all of that. We have the potential. We just have to move with that.
So let's start moving with that.
All right, thank you so much, Arnold Mason Levanyo, Dada Halfco, Mr. Michael Na, as well as Ben K for your contribution so far. Now let me wrap it all up with Salatiel. Any gig, any performance in Ghana ahead of us?
I'm here to connect. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to connect just for a few days and the connection is going on very well. I want to say a big up to Ghanaian people and Ghanaian media for the warm reception. It's been a great one. I definitely am coming back very soon, and there's going to be a lot of work and a lot of shows and stuff. Well, let's see how it goes, and be rest assured I will be back here in a few months.
All right, thank you so much, Salatiel. And I know you have some fans already. People are hitting me on social media, telling me how they love your songs. Maybe you can tell them where they can get your song, your social media. So we wrap up.
Yes, on Instagram it's at the real Salatiel. On Twitter the same, the real Salatiel, and on Facebook it's Salatiel. The page is verified, so you're going to find one Salatiel page. And I wanted to say a big thank you to Obi and the team that has been taking me around. Thank you to Zylofon FM, and thank you to you thanks to you for receiving me over here. Thank you.
Any day. All right, thank you so much, Salatiel. Good morning to you, Chief Abiola. Hey, where is Obi? Good morning to you, Obi. GH, hope you're good as well. And we're going to meet again tomorrow at 7. Hey, today too I have offended my listeners. I didn't give them the time to call. Guys, I can only ask for forgiveness. Forgive me. Tomorrow, it is going to be a different story. Tomorrow, we're going to give you enough space so that you guys can also call to contribute to the business here on Showbiz Agenda. It has been a great morning, great day. Any other day, we are going to do it again. My name is Sammy Flex. Thanks to the production team led by Nee Ashley and the rest of my people. And thanks to the guys who did the streaming. Paco Rich, Isaac Abwaji, as well as Director Abeku. And how do you say waiting?
Yes, a quick shout out to someone. The name is Biru, and it's coming from Bennis Newman. It is going out to you, Biru at Banyat. I think you're listening. Biru, Biru, Biru.
Okay.
Yeah, Biru. Big ups to you, Biru.
All right, so DJ Q take over, give us good music till 12 p.m. where Paloma also come in with more fire here on Zylofon FM.